Our region's business is sponsored by PNC for the achiever in us all, and by Fregasso Financial Advisors. How different could your life be? Fee-based investment management securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Our region's business. Innovation, transformation, momentum, improving our communities and driving technologies that will shape our region for generations. The collaboration that brings vitality, prosperity, and life to living. Stay with us for the coming half hour as we examine in depth our region's business. Now, here's your host, Bill Flanagan.
Today on Our Region's Business, how businesses that stress safety can get a boost to the bottom line, plus the next American economy and how it's emerging right here in our region. But first, an agenda to remake manufacturing in America. It may come as a surprise to many, but the United States is the world's largest manufacturing economy, producing more than 1/5 of global manufactured products. But our lead has been slipping in recent years, even as we field the most productive workers in the world. What's happened? And what's it going to take to maintain America's leading edge when it comes to making things? Jay Timmons here in our region to talk about it. He's the president and CEO of the National Association of Manufacturers. Welcome, good to see you.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
Yeah, great to have you here in Pittsburgh, obviously. A great manufacturing tradition here in our region.
Absolutely, and we have a tremendous number of members of the National Association of Manufacturers that are based here in Pittsburgh. We've got 12,000 members across the country, but we've been really privileged to have great leaders coming out of the Pittsburgh area. Chuck Bunch, the CEO of PPG Industries, was our outstanding chairman from 2007 and 2008. And right now, Greg Babe, the CEO of Bear Company, is on our executive committee. And then we have about 7 other board members from this area. So Pittsburgh is well represented at the National Association of Manufacturers.
Wow, that's good. The thousands of manufacturers in the United States. I mean, you must get the question all the time, though. People saying, I didn't know we even made anything in the United States anymore.
You know, you get that question a lot because, well, quite frankly, the media hasn't really played up the fact that we are the #1 producer. We're responsible for 21% of global output. China is next, Japan comes after that, and as you said, our lead has been diminishing just a bit, but we still are very much in the driver's seat as the #1 manufacturing economy in the world.
Now, how can that be when you see on so many products made in China, made here, made there, made everywhere but the United States?
Well, we're a pretty large consumer economy, so we have a lot of products that we buy and we consume here in this country. So some are made, certainly, offshore, but many are made here in this country. So it does balance out. But that doesn't mean that we can't continue to strive to increase our footprint in the world. We'd like to be more than 21% of global economic output. We have a lot to do, though, to get there.
Well, and how's it been going recently? Because, you know, we've heard over the last decade, first after the dot-com bust, more recently the Great Recession, manufacturing jobs going away, manufacturers going out of business. What's sort of the state of the health of the industry today?
You know, I've been spending a lot of time traveling across the country, talking to not only our members, but also folks who work on the shop floors to get their perspective. And what I'm hearing is a very cautious optimism right now, that we're kind of on the verge of a manufacturing renaissance in this country. But the renaissance will only come about if we get our policies right in Washington and at the state level. And that's really what the National Association of Manufacturers focuses on. You know, how do we make sure that the policies that we create in Washington, D.C., not Beijing, not Brussels, but right here in this country, how do we make sure that those policies create an environment where manufacturing can thrive and the economy can grow?
Did I read recently that manufacturing jobs have actually had an uptick in the last year or so?
250,000 jobs have been added to the manufacturing sector since 2009. And while that's good news, I think you really have to put it in perspective. During the last recession, we lost 2.2 million jobs. So we've added back some of those, and that is, yes, good news. But again, we've got a long way to go, and we've got to get our policies right if we're going to continue to increase the manufacturing employment in this country.
So what's at the top of your wish list then when you start pounding the halls on Capitol Hill?
Yeah, well, we have developed a manufacturing strategy for jobs in a competitive America, which can be found, by the way, on our website at www.nam.org. And that strategy really seeks to make sure that the United States is the best country in the world in which to headquarter a company or to attract direct foreign investment, the best country in the world in which to innovate and perform the bulk of a company's research and development activities, and most importantly, the best country in the world in which to manufacture. Not only to service the domestic economy here, or the domestic market here in this country, but also the rest of the world where 95% of potential customers reside. So we want to be a strong export platform as well. And the way to accomplish those goals, better tax policy, better regulatory policy, better energy policy, all of those contribute to an unfortunate statistic, which is that it's 18% more expensive to do business in this country than it is among our major trading partners. So our goal, and we hope Congress and the administration's goal in the long run, will be to reduce the cost of doing business here in this country so we attract more investment and more growth in the manufacturing sector.
Do you think many manufacturers would prefer to be making things here rather than in other countries if they could, if the policies were better?
This is the best country in the world to do anything. And it's the best country in the world to live, to operate, to run a business. But when costs drive you out, either out of business or out of the country, it's not good for, and no manufacturer wants to have to make that decision. Sometimes you have to make a decision to manufacture a product that's closer to your market, and of course there are a lot of economies that are growing very quickly right now, whether that's China or India or Brazil. But when a manufacturer can, they want to make those products right here in the United States. The way to do that, or the way to make sure that we continue to allow that sector to thrive, is again to reduce those costs of doing business here.
Do you get a sense that they're paying attention inside the Beltway?
Inside the Beltway of Washington, every single candidate for office last year, and every candidate that I've heard talking about 2012, including the president, is talking about the importance of manufacturing to a strong, growing, thriving American economy. We cannot be the strong economic leader in the world that we are now if we're not making things of value in this country, if we become a service-only economy. So they understand the importance of manufacturing. Now it's up to all of us to work together to make sure that we adopt the right policies, that our congressmen and senators adopt the right policies to make sure that we can achieve that goal.
All right. Jay Timmons, President and CEO of the National Association of Manufacturers. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for having me here today.
And next up, a CEO's success story of how putting safety first helped him build a better business. Stay with us.